Hi everyone, I'm Steve Miranda. I'm the Executive Vice President of Oracle Applications. It's my pleasure to welcome today Michelle Green. Michelle is the Vice President at Discover Financial Services. Welcome, Michelle.
Thanks, Steve, for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
What separates Discover from other financial institutions?
Discover is so much more than just a digital bank and credit card company. We genuinely have a relentless focus on prioritizing our customers, our payments partners, as well as our employees.
How did all of this craziness over the last 2 years really affect you and Discover?
For us, it was all around prioritizing our customers. So we extended our payment terms. We waived fees for our customers. For our traveling card customers, we had helped them navigate travel cancellations. For our payments partners, many of them weren't digital, so we had to help them charter that unnavigated space. In that first 2 weeks, we started working from home straight away. And I am so proud to say that by the end of March of 2020, our call wait times were less than 70 seconds, which is remarkable considering our culture is really based on being in the office. I've always done, on-prem technology implementations together. And so for us to be able to say that we delivered on time, under budget, and in high quality, it's amazing.
It's amazing to hear that and to have at the end a little footnote, on time and under budget. Just kind of gives us some perspective for people who've done these implementations.
Yeah.
It's funny, I used to speak kind of pre-pandemic with CFOs and CIOs and the like. It would be about the need to change fast and how cloud really afforded that. So what kind of drove the decision-making to move to the cloud?
For us, it was really a straightforward decision. We had an enterprise-wide strategy of moving to cloud, as well as simplifying our landscapes. All of our finance feeds, they weren't cloud ready, so we had to develop a cloud data fabric. We had an opportunity that we had to do end-to-end integration testing, which hadn't been done before. Our program was all around pulling out 7 systems and putting in our 3 Oracle cloud applications, and you think it would start and end there, but for us it didn't. With that, we had to figure out, what does that mean for the data? So our program was really centered around, 4 things: data, innovation, value creation, and simplification. Because we didn't know what we didn't know, I often refer to it as, the spider's nest, that when you start peeling it back, you uncover more things. What we learned was this is much more than technology. It gives Discover an opportunity to be a better business partner because we're going to be able to access more data and higher quality, just efficiencies in the ways that we work. Our architecture was so heavily customized that people were using their own tribal knowledge. And with the cloud applications and that standard functionality, our people got to learn new ways of working and then tailoring their ways of working to the standard functionality and processes.
What you said there was so critical that I really see over and over with projects is taking it more than just, let's say, the software, the service from Oracle, and data and business transformation and people transformation. So no doubt that contributed to the on time and under budget success. How are we doing on the benefits? Achieving versus expected. What's the scorecard so far?
So there's 2 things I look for in an implementation to kind of gauge where we're at. The first is when people say the implementation was a non-event. The second is when people start giving unsolicited feedback that they're loving the systems. We had people reach out to us to say, hey, loving the speed of the systems, we're loving the access to the data, and we're loving being able to tailor how we're engaging with the standard functionality. And you don't hear that often. A coined phrase that I have now is that we won the Digital Cloud Transformation Super Bowl as one team.
It's amazing that when you get that feedback, but at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is really make people's job easier. And then as things change, hopefully important even going forward. So what's your feedback for us on the quarterly updates and the innovation you're receiving now on a regular basis?
In addition to the updates, there's that mindset shift. There's the continuous improvement. There's having the strong and reliable partnerships are key. We're seeing green shoots of benefits, such as we did shift to a product-centric structure to self-support. The second is developing that inaugural stakeholder community so that there's that 2-way dialogue between our stakeholders and end users, as well as the product team, as well as Oracle bringing that information back to you. And then I think the third thing that we're also seeing is those efficiencies and the ways of working, with that continuous improvement mindset and having that 2-way dialogue between our end users to say, okay, this new functionality is coming out. This is how we believe it's going to change our processes or our controls, training, and ways of working.
That phrase you use, continuous improvement. I mean, now we really truly feel like you have the opportunity to do that. It's a much more nimble product. And frankly, in the past when we had an on-premise product, we deliver innovation, but when customers can't use it, it's a very different circumstance. Can you maybe describe either how it worked at Discover, or maybe some advice for some of our prospects or customers out there who are where you were 2.5 years ago and about to start?
Please, 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 whoever is getting ready to do a cloud implementation, don't think it's just taking out systems and putting other systems in. Most of us have to think about what your on-prem architecture looks like and how you're going to interface that to the cloud. And that really relies on the data and those data feeds and the data mesh. It's about the strong partnerships. It's about the reliable relationships. It's about having people at all levels across our organizations, Oracle, Discover, and Accenture, working together to figure out what's the best next path forward. For example, on EPM, it's a tool that Discover really pushed the technical boundaries. And your team stepped up, helped us figure it out so that we could keep in standard functionality. We had a guiding principle. We weren't going to do any customization. And, when I looked to the team, they were miraculous in helping us figure that out. And it was obviously super stressful as we got into it because of the volumes and what we were trying to do with replacing the heavily customized systems with the standard functionality. But they lived up to that creative innovation. And then don't underestimate the cultural change that it's going to take internally around how do your functions work together. So in our case, our finance folks get to learn technology speak, and our technologists get to learn finance speak. And so it really creates that really positive dynamic of each of us learning each other and how ultimately that functionality and automation works, in our case, to make more effective enterprise-wide business decisions. And then lastly, the importance of partnerships.
How are you going to use Oracle going forward? And how can we be helpful in that growth path to continue on Discover's mission?
We at Discover view our relationship with Oracle as both a business partner as well as a technology partner. Oracle, I think, is known as a technology company. It's more than that, though. There's, I think, several win themes that I've gotten to know about Oracle over the last 22 months that have been critical. The first is being proactive. You guys provided us a customer success team that fully integrated into our program and transformation. The second, that constant innovation. As we push those technical boundaries of EPM, we were also pushing the volume, constraints with the existing bandwidth, and your product team helped us figure that out. Yeah. And then the responsiveness to feedback. For our program to be successful, we needed to be with you in lockstep the entire way. And so one of the things that we developed was getting access to your senior executive folks. And that's what helped us stay on time, under budget, and deliver in high quality, because everybody brought their superhero powers to the table.
Michelle, I can't thank you enough for coming and joining us today. A lot of times when I speak with customers, I say, this is a lot about what we encourage our customers to do, but you've done it, you've lived it. So just a great congratulations to Discover for all that you do in terms of driving that digital transformation. And again, just a little footnote to the project for those of us who've done ERP project for a long time: on time, under budget, people happy with the project, 2 weeks in. I mean, just can't thank you enough. And we very much at Oracle, on behalf of Oracle, just thank you. And we really look forward to the continued partnership.
Yeah, well, we do too at Discover, so thank you.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.